Imagine this scene. January 1974. The electricity cuts out. Your mum stands in the kitchen, candle flickering, twisting open a tin with that familiar squeal of metal. Outside, snow presses against the windowpins. Inside, the gas hob glows blue, the last source of warmth left. The 1970s hit Britain hard. The three-day week, sugar rationing, strikes that left supermarket shelves half empty. And through it all, families learned to survive on tins, packets, and whatever they could make stretch. These 21 foods weren't fancy. They weren't good for you. But they kept the country fed through winters when the lights went off and Britain felt like it might freeze completely. Fray Bentos pies arrived in flat tins designed to test your patience before rewarding you. Opening one was a struggle. That winding key bent easily, snapping if you rushed it. But inside waited steak and kidney, or minced beef and onion, sealed tight since the factory. Every 1970s cupboard had one pushed to the back: emergency food. When strikes shut shops early or wages didn't last the week, you reached for Fray Bentos. In the oven, the pastry lifted and puffed, almost convincing you it was homemade. Beneath it sat gravy thick enough to cling to a spoon and meat that could stretch to 6 plates if potatoes were involved. Housewives knew the routine. 40 minutes at gas mark 6, lid off for the last 10 to crisp the top. Children hovered by the oven, faces pressed to the glass, as steam fogged up and the pastry browned. It wasn't special, but on a freezing January evening with no heating, it felt like a proper dinner. Corned beef hash could turn one tin into food for the whole family. The meat came in blue-labeled, cans with a key attached, shipped in from Argentina when British farms couldn't supply enough. You wound the key slowly, peeling back the metal strip to reveal tightly packed pink beef. It was diced with potatoes and onions, fried until the edges caught and browned. The smell was salty, metallic. Children complained. Fathers drowned it in brown sauce. Mothers made it last, because one tin cost 2 shillings and could feed 6 if you added enough spuds. Spam fritters carried echoes of wartime, but they fed 1970s families just as well. Thick slices of processed pork dipped in batter and lowered into hot oil until golden. The kitchen filled with the smell of fat and salt. The batter formed a crisp shell that cracked when you bit through it. Schools served them. Chip shops sold them. At home, mums heated deep pans while children waited. With chips and beans, tea was sorted. No delay, no fuss. The batter mattered. Flour and water, maybe an egg if one was spare. Thick enough to cling, thin enough not to smother the meat. Some families added vinegar for crunch. Either way, spam fritters filled stomachs when real meat felt like something other households could afford. Findus crispy pancakes arrived in the late 60s, but ruled the 70s. Bright orange breadcrumbed parcels stuffed with minced beef or cheese and onion, straight from the freezer to the oven. No prep, no thinking. 20 minutes and dinner was ready. Working mums relied on them. Exhausted fathers ate them quietly. Children fought over the first bite, then yelped as the filling scorched their mouths. The cheese ones were always the worst. Smash instant mash turned powder into dinner faster than peeling potatoes ever could. That blue Cadbury tin lived in cupboards nationwide, promising hot mash in minutes. The adverts were unforgettable, Martians mocking humans for peeling, boiling, then smashing potatoes. For worn-out mothers facing another blackout, the aliens had a point. The taste wasn't right. Slightly metallic, nothing like real mash. But after a full day's work coming home to a freezing house, smash did what it needed to do. Add water, stir, serve, always lumpy, never perfect. But alongside sausages or corned beef, it filled plates. Vesta curries promised flavors from far away, all inside a cardboard box. For many Britons, this was their first taste of foreign food, even if it came dehydrated and needed boiling. Beef curry with rice. Chicken curry topped with crispy noodles. It felt exotic in a decade that was. Saturday nights meant Vesta. Foil packets simmered while children imagined distant places. The reality was odd, sweet, slightly spicy, often with raisins. But in a Britain where Indian restaurants were rare and Chinese takeaways were new, Vesta felt exciting. The crispy noodles were the prize. Children fought over them. The rice was forgettable. Still, it was something different when money was tight. Liver and onions divided families, but filled them cheaply. Offal stayed popular because it cost next to nothing. A pound of lamb's liver was far cheaper than proper cuts, making it winter food when wages didn't stretch. Sliced thin and fried with mountains of onions, the smell was sharp and unavoidable. Children poked at it in horror. Fathers insisted it was good for the blood. Cauliflower cheese stepped in when meat was scarce. A whole cauliflower boiled soft, drowned in thick cheddar sauce. Not a side dish, the main event, served with boiled potatoes and bread to mop up sauce. The cheese sauce took care. Flour, margarine, milk, and as much cheese as possible. Sometimes mustard powder for bite. It turned cheap veg into something filling. Toad in the hole made sausages go further. Cheap sausages bulked with cereal sat in batter that puffed and crisped around them. Yorkshire pudding batter cost pennies. Flour, eggs, milk, just enough meat to feel like a real meal. The secret was hot fat smoking before the batter went in. The sizzle told you it was right. Crispy edges, soft center, perfect for onion gravy. Kids fought over the corners. Fathers claimed the sausages. Lancashire hot pot carried northern tradition through cold winters. Layers of potato and onion with chunks of mutton baked slowly until the top browned and the juices below deepened. Mutton was cheaper than lamb, tougher, fattier, but time transformed it. In mill towns hit by layoffs, hot pot meant home. Every family had their version. Thin sliced potatoes overlapped on top, turning golden while everything beneath melted together. It cooked all day and fed everyone at tea time. Mince and tatties ruled northern tables. Cheap minced beef simmered with onions and carrots, served with mountains of mash. The gravy pooled in a hollow in the center, guarded fiercely by children. The mince was stretched with veg, sometimes barley when times were hardest. Simple, filling, reliable. Bread and dripping was what you ate when nothing else was left. Fat saved from Sunday's roast, cooled and spread thick on white bread. Sometimes salted, sometimes plain. For many, this was Monday's tea. The dripping cracked under the knife, leaving a salty reminder of meat even when there wasn't any. Fish finger sandwiches solved the problem of being too tired to cook. 4 fish fingers, fried or grilled, sandwiched between thick slices of white bread. Soft bread, melting butter, ketchup soaking in. Not memorable, but it filled you up. Bubble and squeak turned leftovers into another meal. Cold potatoes and cabbage mashed together, fried until the edges crisped. The smell of cabbage filled the house. Children hated it. Fathers liked the crunchy bits. Mothers wasted nothing. Semolina with jam escaped school dinners and followed kids home. Milky, grainy pudding with a blob of strawberry jam melting into the center. Cheap, filling, warm, loved by some, hated by others. Without jam, it was unbearable. With it, just about edible. Angel Delight changed pudding forever. Powder whisked with milk into fluffy mousse in minutes. Strawberry ruled. Butterscotch divided opinion. The whisking was part of the fun. Waiting for it to set felt endless. First spoonful always too early, still runny, nobody cared. Arctic roll mixed sponge and ice cream into something better than it had any right to be. Vanilla ice cream wrapped in sponge and jam, sliced at just the right moment. Too early and it melted. Too late and it wouldn't cut. Kids got the big slices. Tinned pears with evaporated milk made Sunday tea feel special. Soft pears in syrup, thick milk poured over until it looked like cream. Served in glass bowls if you had them. Cheap, simple, but something to look forward to. Beef stew with suet dumplings fed families through the worst winters. Cheap cuts simmered for hours with root veg. Dumplings dropped in last, swelling heavy with gravy. Children grabbed them first. Fathers drank broth from mugs while waiting. Stalk margarine on toast was what you ate when cupboards were bare. Butter was a luxury. Thick white bread toasted over a gas flame, spread with salty margarine. It wasn't satisfying, but it was there. Tripe and onions split generations. Pale honeycomb tripe boiled with onions until tender. The smell was powerful. Grandparents loved it. Children refused it. It was cheap, filling, and once common. By the end of the decade, tripe shops vanished. Not missed, but remembered as proof of how far people went to keep families fed. Which of these takes you straight back to candlelit kitchens and freezing winters? Share your memories in the comments and subscribe to keep these stories alive.